Welcome charter board members and school leaders. The topic of this mini-course is developing an effective relationship with the Charter Schools Authorizer. The Minnesota Department of Education defines an authorizer as a public oversight entity approved by the state to hold a charter school accountable for the terms of its performance contract. An effective relationship between the school and authorizer can help both parties achieve their goals. Would you like to learn more about how to develop an effective relationship with the school's authorizer? Would you like resources shared by another charter school? This mini-course may help you. In this mini-course, you will review the law, learn ideas, get resources, test your knowledge, and receive a certificate of completion. When reviewing the law, ideas, and resources, think about how your board might develop an effective relationship with your authorizer. Let's start by reviewing the law. There are many Minnesota statutes that impact authorizers and the relationships that they have with the schools that they authorize. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.05, Subdivision 2A, clarifies the role of the authorizer as follows. An authorizer must ensure that a school it authorizes has the autonomy granted by statute. It must ensure that a school it authorizes fulfills the purposes of a charter school. It must ensure that a school it authorizes is accountable to the agreed-upon terms of the charter contract to safeguard quality educational opportunities for students and maintain public trust. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.05, Subdivision 2B, clarifies the responsibilities of an authorizer as follows. Review applications for new schools. Determine whether a new school is ready to open. Review applications for grade and site expansions. Review applications for change in authorizers. Determine whether to approve or deny an application based on the authorizer's approved criteria. Negotiate and execute the performance charter contracts with the schools it authorizes. Conduct ongoing monitoring, oversight, and evaluation of the school's academic, operational, and financial performance during the term of the charter contract. Evaluate the academic, operational, and financial performance of the school as defined in the charter contract to determine the renewal, non-renewal, or termination of the contract. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.05, Subdivision 4, specifies criteria an authorizer must meet in order to authorize a charter school. An authorizer describes how they will meet the criteria in a required, commissioner-approved authorizer plan. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.05, Subdivision 5, requires the commissioner to review an authorizer's performance every 5 years. The Minnesota Department of Education reviews the performance of authorizers by holding them accountable to their commissioner-approved authorizer plans and applicable law. The commissioner-approved authorizer plan must include the process for renewing or terminating an authorized school's charter based on evidence of academic, organizational, and financial competency. The evidence must include the school's success in increasing student achievement and meeting the goals of the charter school contract. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.05, Subdivision 6, states that the commissioner may subject the authorizer to corrective action if the authorizer does not meet requirements. The corrective action may include terminating the contract with the charter school board of directors of a school that the authorizer charters. Authorizers in corrective action status do not have authority to charter new schools, accept transfers, or initiate expansion requests. To summarize, What are some of the requirements that an authorizer must meet that can impact the relationships that they have with the schools that they authorize? An authorizer must fulfill its roles and responsibilities as set forth in Minnesota statutes. The roles and responsibilities include ensuring authorized schools have autonomy, fulfill their purposes, and comply with the charter contract. They include evaluating applications for new schools, expansions, transfers, and changes in authorizer and readiness to open. They include negotiating performance contracts with authorized schools and monitoring, overseeing and evaluating academic, operational, and financial performance. An authorizer must follow its commissioner-approved authorizer plan and make contract renewal decisions based on the school's academic, organizational, and financial competency. The Minnesota Department of Education evaluates authorizers. If an authorizer does not follow their commissioner-approved authorizer plan and applicable law, they may be subject to corrective action. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.10 includes many charter contract provisions that impact the relationship between the school and the authorizer. For example, the charter contract must include the criteria, processes, and procedures the authorizer will use to monitor and evaluate the school's fiscal, operational, and academic performance. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.10, Subdivision 3A, states that the authorizer must provide a formal written evaluation of the school's performance before renewing the charter contract. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.10, Subdivision 4, states that an authorizer may terminate or not renew a school's contract for failure to demonstrate satisfactory academic achievement. An authorizer may also terminate or not renew a school's contract for failure to demonstrate generally accepted standards of fiscal management, violations of the law, or other good cause. Minnesota Statutes Section 124E.17, Subdivision 1, permits authorizers to disseminate information about the successful best practices in teaching and learning demonstrated by charter schools. To summarize, what are some of the contract provisions and other requirements that can impact the relationship between the school and the authorizer? The contract between the authorizer and charter school must describe how the authorizer will monitor and evaluate the academic, operational, and fiscal performance of the school. The authorizer must complete a formal, written evaluation of the school's performance before renewing the contract with the school. An authorizer may terminate or not renew a charter contract for failure to demonstrate satisfactory academic achievement, for poor fiscal management, or for violations of the law. Authorizers may share effective practices in teaching and learning demonstrated by charter schools. While authorizers have many responsibilities in the relationship with the schools that they authorize, they do not have authority to govern or manage the schools. Next, let's look at some ideas that charter boards have shared to help develop an effective relationship with an authorizer. Read your authorizer's commissioner-approved authorizer plan and your school's contract with your authorizer to understand the terms of each and request clarification if the terms are not clear. Regularly review school progress toward contract goals and take action, if necessary, to meet the goals. Regularly communicate with the authorizer if you have questions or concerns. Copy the authorizer when emailing the board packet of materials to board members in advance of the charter board meetings. Submit required reports, such as the annual report, to the authorizer accurately and on time. Create a standing agenda item for authorizer communication and updates at board meetings. Take the initiative to share effective practices in teaching and learning with the authorizer. Following are questions that you may want to ask to help your board develop an effective relationship with your authorizer. What are the responsibilities of both the authorizer and the school as described in the contract that the school has with the authorizer? Has the school recently met with the authorizer to review the school's performance and progress toward contract goals? How does the school communicate school performance to the authorizer? Does the board provide an opportunity for the authorizer to address the board during board meetings? How does the board communicate changes in policies and bylaws to the authorizer in a timely manner so that the authorizer has access to the most current documents? How can the authorizer and school leverage their relationship to help both organizations meet their goals? Now that you have reviewed the law, learned ideas from other charter boards, and considered questions, let's look at ways you can support success. By understanding the terms of the school's contract with the authorizer and monitoring progress toward contract goals, you can support school success with contract renewal. By understanding the expectations that your authorizer must meet as described in their commissioner-approved authorizer plan, you can help your board work more effectively with the authorizer. Following are some potential next steps. Read your school's charter contract and read your authorizer's commissioner-approved authorizer plan and ask for clarification if any information is not clear. Include a standing board meeting agenda item to review progress toward contract goals. Schedule regular reviews of progress toward the charter contract goals with the authorizer and share questions and concerns. Discuss plans to improve school performance and share effective practices with the authorizer. Submit required documents such as the school's annual report and audit to the authorizer accurately and on time. Contribute your ideas and tools for developing effective relationships with authorizers. Information in this video is not intended to address specific questions or issues a particular school may be facing. Charter schools should work with their authorizer, auditor, financial service provider, and advisors, lawyer, and staff to address any specific issues and to obtain additional resources. We hope this information is helpful in developing an effective relationship with your authorizer.